Welcome back to the channel and thank you for your time today. If you are returning, thank you for coming in. If you're new to the channel, thank you for being here. On this channel, we talk about real money, we talk about real life, and we talk about building real wealth. And today we're going to talk about what is keeping you from your wealthy spot. Your wealthy spot could be 6 figures, your wealthy spot could be 7 figures, it could be in the millions. It could be 8 figures. I don't know what your wealthy spot is. Only you know that. But there are some things that's keeping you from your wealthy spot. Right now, if you're at home, I want you to go in your garage, open the door, and look to see what's in the garage. Because that could be the very thing that's keeping you from your wealthy spot. I did some tabulations myself. Over the years that I've been purchasing cars, I've purchased about 9 of them. And so I was calculating how much that may have cost me later on. That's what we're going to talk about. That's not the only one, but we're going to talk about those car payments. Stay tuned. Okay, let me give you a few stats on this. The average payment, like I said, for a new car is $750. The average payment for a used car is about $530 a month. The average price of a new vehicle is $48,000. And people are financing these anywhere from 72 to 84 months of these high interest payments. If you were to pay $750 a month for 6 years, that's $54,000 that's gone. That's not including your insurance, your taxes, or repairs on these cars, right? So if you do this every 6 years for the next 30 years, that's $270,000 alone just with these car payments that you've paid over the years on cars, right? So if you were to invest that money, that $750 a month, and we know as the years go up, the car payments go up because cars are not getting any cheaper. They're getting more expensive. If anything, they're not getting cheaper though. And insurance is getting higher and the maintenance is getting higher. So it's more and more money put out on these cars. So if you were to pay that $750 over that amount of time, put it in an S&P 500 index fund that gives you approximately 8% annual return for 30 years, you'd have over, drum roll please, $1 million. So as we can see, these cars may be a big part of not making us making where we want to be as far as our wealthy spot. Whatever it is, the car payment probably has a lot to do with it. Now I know what you're saying. It's hard for anyone to live without a car. And I would agree with you, especially if you have a lot of running around to do. I know some friends of mine, I know some relatives, they don't even know how to drive, so they do public transportation. We have buses here, we have a train here in the city, and so that's what they use everywhere they go. So, and then they walk, they go somewhere, wherever the bus will carry them, and then they walk the rest of the way to wherever it is that they need to go. And I did have a friend that used to live downtown, and he chose to not have a car, but everything he needed was downtown. And when he went somewhere else outside of downtown, he'd use Uber. So he didn't have a car payment. He didn't have insurance payments. He didn't have all of that. So he could save a ton of money with that. And using Uber and using the railway to get around, you save a lot of money because you don't have that insurance cost every month or every 6 months you have to pay out. Those maintenance costs that you have to pay out, because even if the car works perfectly fine, one day you're gonna have to replace tires. There's battery, windshields, all of this that goes into oil changes, just regular maintenance on the car. And that is money being spent out. So even if he lived like that for a couple of years before he moved away or wherever he is now, he still saved a ton of money by not having a car payment. So yes, there are some ways around it, but I know the independence of having a car, and you can get the car and go wherever you want to. I will say Uber does make it a lot easier to get around if you don't have a car, because wherever it is you want to go, you can call an Uber and just go there. And with the grocery store stuff, you guys, you can order your groceries and they will deliver them to you. Amazon delivers stuff to you. So there's a lot of people that's probably reconsidering or not using their car as much as they used to because of all these other conveniences. There are some folks that are caring for their elderly parents and things that they just have to be at home for, that they're using services to come to their house and not going out so often. So there are ways around using just having a car and using it, you know, and having all the payments and everything that goes with it. So just want you to count up how many cars you've had over the years, how much money you've paid out for all those cars if you make monthly payments on these cars and not just buy them outright, and see where it is that this may be pulling from your wealthy spot. I don't want you to grab those car keys and run out on me before you hit that like button and that subscribe button so that you can stay up to date on the latest information as I'm bringing it to you. This is valuable information, and hopefully you can do some calculations and make adjustments to these cars. I am going to give you a few ways that will help you as far as the cars, purchasing them and maintaining them. Okay, there is a better way to handle the car situation. And what I want you to know, only 2 of my 9 cars that I purchased were new. So what I normally do is I purchase cars about 2 years old, 2 to 3 years old, because they've taken the big hit on the first couple of years and the major depreciation that these cars go through. But I like low mileage. I like low mileage, and I get them checked out by a mechanic before I buy them. I made the mistake of not doing that with my very first Cutlass, and there were some transmission issues with it that I got repaired. My dad helped me get those repaired, but because I had spent all my money on purchasing the car. But these days you can take a mechanic with you. There are mechanics you can hire out, and they do a full-fledged review and inspection of the car, engine, tires, everything that you missed when you went to see the car before you purchased the car. I would always advise you to get that done. But try to stay away from buying the new cars because you're going to take the biggest hit with the new cars. Now, the reason that I bought the Benz new is because they did not have it in the hybrid model, what I was looking for, used. This was the first year for that particular model that they put it in. Mercedes had some other hybrid models, so they were familiar with the hybrid, you know, the electrical and the gas car going together. But this was the first SUV in that style that I wanted for the year. Now, of course, this is year 2 that they have it in, but that's the reason why I bought that new, because I was looking for them used, you guys. I'll be honest. I don't really like to pay top price or new price for much of anything when it comes to a car. So I was looking for it used, could not find it, so I had to buy it a new car for that. But that's one of the ways that you can save on the bill as far as the car payments and pulling from your wealth in the future. Another thing you can do is save up a certain amount to put down. Try to put down at least 20% on the car, if not pay for it. I'm a proponent of just getting the money together and paying for the car, which means after I buy a car, if I know I'm going to buy another car in the future, I go ahead and start putting that money aside and getting that interest myself in my own account. And when it comes time to purchase another car, I'll have it, trade that one in, purchase the new one, and I'll have the money there to do that. So it's paid for cash and I'm not paying interest, because you guys know how I feel about interest. I'm not paying interest to anybody. So I would say at least 20% down. The next thing I would tell you also is try to pay it off within 3 to 4 years. You know, these long payments are 7, 8, 9, 10 years on these cars. It's probably a car that you can't afford if you have to pay it out that long, especially if you're paying $500, $600, $700, $800 a month for that long. That's just way too long, you guys. It really is. So after that many years, you could have put a down payment on a house, really, with the money that you're going to be spending on those vehicles. Vehicles are nice, but it's transportation. That's what we have to keep in mind. It is transportation. So keep that in mind. Keep it as low as possible. If you can get it paid off in 2 years, great. 2, 3, 4 years max, I would go on a car, and that's about the extent that I would tell you to go with a car payment. And one last thing I will just throw in there, a rule of thumb is if your car payment is over 10% of your take-home pay, not your gross, your take-home pay. If it's more than 10%, you probably have too much car. Back it down some because you probably got too much car. So that means if you're paying $750 a month for a car payment, you need to be bringing home at least $7,500 a month to afford that car payment. And I would say you probably need to be bringing home a little bit more than that, at least $8,000 a month to afford that $750 car payment. But keep that in mind as a rule of thumb. If it's more than 10% of your take-home pay, bringing it in the house, take-home pay, you probably have too much car. Now let's get to a small list of a few other things that may be pulling from your wealthy spot. The next thing I'm going to bring up, I brought up before, is those credit cards, those pesky credit cards with 25, 27, 28% interest that you're paying on those credit cards. Over amount of time, you're paying double on some of the stuff that you're buying if you're not paying your credit cards off every month and not paying interest on those credit cards. So keep that in mind. The credit cards are eating away at your wealthy spot. But that's the second thing up that I want to remind you to keep those at bay, pay those down, pay them off, then use a credit card. The way, in my mind, you need to use it to your advantage is to use it, but pay it off each and every month. Another thing that's eating away at your wealthy spot is this eating out a lot. I've been counseling one of my clients on this, and this person admitted eats out quite a bit. And when we sat down, looked at the numbers and saw the money that was being spent on eating out, they knew that this was an issue. They already knew, actually, before we had the consultation, that it was an issue, eating out so much. So you got to curtail that, pull that in, because the question is, what do you want? What do you want, or what do you want right now? And if you want the food right now, it's going to take away from what you want in the future. At some point in time, people want to retire. At some point in time, people want to have money in the bank so they can do various things with. If eating out is keeping you from getting there, curtail that. Pull it in, reel it in, because you don't have to eat out every night. Probably, too, eating out so much is maybe unhealthy for you, depending on the type of food that you're eating. And it's just extremely expensive with the way the economy is, the way the food is. Even in the grocery store, it's high. So eating out, it's going to be high. So take a look at your eating out. And also these DoorDashes and all this, getting this delivered to your house, this food that's already prepared, getting it delivered to your house, that's also pulling away and eating at your wealthy spot also, because that's money that's being spent, extra money that you could be doing something with, investing it or doing something else with it. So let's keep that in mind also. And the last thing that I will tell you that may be eating up your money from becoming wealthy is your house payment. If you bought too much house, and as a realtor, people make decisions and they purchase what they want to purchase. If you've purchased too much house and you're making a huge house payment or something you can't afford, something that you're barely meeting, something that you're coming home and complaining about, you can't really enjoy your house, because that's the one thing that you have to make every month. You may be making it every month, but you have nothing else left over to do anything else, or you're using credit cards to do the other things you need to do. You're probably house poor. You got too much house, and you may need to downsize it. You may need to back away from it and maybe go and rent somewhere for a few years until you can recalculate and get a strategy up of what I'm going to buy. But don't suffer through if you have too much house, So, and the best thing to do is to calculate that out before you go in and purchase houses. I know in our area, there are some builders that the houses are becoming much more reasonable, and the further outside of Austin you want to live, the more reasonable the houses are. And so people are choosing to live outside of Austin and then drive into Austin, or live outside of Austin and work in the cities that they're living in. I have a lot of friends of mine that are deciding to live in other cities other than Austin. Now, Austin is always their hometown. They'll come in when they have to or when necessary, but they've chosen to live in other cities, and these cities are growing And so the little towns outside of Austin, they're growing, and that's where they've established themselves, their family, their community, and that's where they live. You know, they'll come into Austin when needed, but they don't have to come into Austin for anything when they've decided to do that. Much more affordable, and they can their money goes a lot longer in these other cities. So keep that in mind also. Now, I know we talked a lot about cars because cars are a major issue, and that's something that for some people easy to go out and buy, and the car lot, the dealers are really ready to sell you cars so that they can make their commission off of it, and you can drive away with that bill and that note that you have to pay for the rest of the 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, however long you do that. So but let's not get tricked, and let's not get tripped up by these things like this that's going to keep us from our wealthy spot in the future. So if it's something that you can afford and that's what you want to do and that's the way you want to spend your money, and that is taking you to the path of where you want to go, your big path of where you want to go in life along the road, if it's in line with what you have mapped out, your goals and everything, great, go for it. But what I'm telling you is to take a look at it, because some of us don't calculate how much money have we spent on all these cars we're buying. Some of us, you know, me included, I have a couple of cars sitting in my garage, but they are work cars, and there's a reason that I have them, and I am getting a tax write-off. And if there's something that you do that you can get a tax write-off for the mileage that you put on those cars with the things that you're doing in your business or whatever it is, great. But let's just be smart about the money. You know, we don't have to live in poverty or anything. That's not what I'm saying. But be smart about the money. You can have a nice car. All my cars that I got, they were nice. They weren't dinged up, they weren't dented up or anything like that. I bought them with low mileage, nice looking cars, very reliable. You know, I love Toyota. I love Toyota and I love Lexus. So those are good, reliable cars. And so when you have a reliable car, you don't have a lot of maintenance on it as far as getting it fixed, just normal maintenance. And that'll save you a lot of money also. So let's do the smart thing with our money, and let's get to our wealthy spot the way that we want to get there within the time frame that we want to be there. All right. And with that, I will see you in the next video.